Is our number two. That's drive time right here on the show that shakes the Southland Clemson Sports Talk. Lawton Swan with you on a Wednesday, and a kind of a weird Wednesday, if you will, as Wes Goodwin said when he stepped to the mic today. Hey, look, good to see you on a Monday. I know in the rest of the world it's a Wednesday. Clemson getting ready for their game on Labor Day night. Jon Blau from the Post and Courier was in Clemson today for all the events that took place. JB, welcome in, man, and thanks for taking some time out to be a part of the show today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Look, I know that typically the Monday of the first Monday of the college football season for a team is a big day. You get a chance to hear from coaches and coordinators and players, and today was very similar, except a Wednesday. I thought a guy like Wes Goodwin, I just mentioned, and I know you heard it, what he said. I thought the way he kind of handled that was nice because until then, he's kind of seemed, I think, for a lot of people, maybe a little maybe shy might be the right word. I don't know if that's quite right, but it was nice to see him opening up to the media. I thought his moments about the dad jokes was great as well. Just give me some thoughts on what you saw just from the personality side of Wes Goodwin today.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, maybe a little shy. I think he's just more of a subdued personality. I mean, he's not Brent Venables, not the excitable type that he was. There's just a real contrast there. But a guy, yeah, who's learning the whole media thing. He's been a behind-the-scenes guy. I think he even said the toughest thing about this job, when we asked him probably about a month or two ago, was just adjusting to the media and talking to the media. He knows how to talk to his players, to his fellow coaches. And like you said, there was the bit about jokes, and he swears his jokes are funny. And I think we asked Barrett Carter as well about his jokes, and he said, yeah, everything in the meeting room stays in the meeting room, but yeah, he's pretty funny. It's kind of random. It will come out of nowhere. So yeah, he is a guy who has personality, and I think I even asked Barrett as well just about what a butt chewing from Wes Goodwin is like, as opposed to Coach Venables, because Coach Venables, again, very excitable guy. If you make a mistake, was just basically gonna just explode on you, just because that was his personality. But Wes Goodwin's a more of a slow build. Will give you a couple chances, but then he will get on you. I mean, there is a fire within the guy. He does know football. I mean, that's for sure. I mean, he talked about obviously the game planning and all that stuff. He knows his X's and O's. In terms of personality, though, yeah, definitely a different guy. Definitely more of a brain, a football brain who isn't exactly used to being out in front of everybody else. But yeah, he seems to be handling it well, about better than I would handle it, I'm sure.
Jon Blau joins us every Wednesday afternoon to talk about your Clemson Tigers as they get set for their opening matchup against Georgia Tech Labor Day night. And so, John, that game, I mentioned this before the break, and obviously talking about spreads and things of that nature aren't a huge thing that we do here on the program, but it's about a 22-point spread or so for Clemson. And the thing I said is, like, I know that this team, if they play up to the level of expectation, can beat Georgia Tech by 22. I know that unequivocally. But I also have concern that maybe the offense still has some issues similarly to a year ago. How important is it in your mind for this team to maybe make a statement on a night where basically all the eyeballs of college football are going to be on Clemson and Georgia Tech on Monday?
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting point. I mean, that just kind of reminds me of KJ Henry saying, this will probably be our quote unquote worst game of the season, because you hope to have, you're not great performance to start, but then you continue to build. And it's about making that worst game the best worst game it could possibly be, which I know sounds confusing probably when you say it. But he's just alluding to the fact that things are a little squirrely in openers. It's just the way it is. But like you were saying, there's probably a little bit of PTSD just with what happened last year and how long it took them to get off the ground. I mean, it wasn't until very late in the season you had that game against Wake Forest where they really pulled away from anybody. Just all these close games all season. And there are so many questions, particularly on the offensive side of the ball, in terms of how explosive they can be, in terms of if they're even capable of running up the score. Obviously, the talk all preseason has been about how improved DJ Uyunglele is, how improved the offensive line is, how much more experienced the receivers, the running backs are. But yeah, you want to see it translate on the field in the first game. That would definitely relieve a lot of the worries I think Clemson fans probably have. Again, some of the quote unquote PTSD from last year in terms of things not going well.
Right.
And that would definitely change things. But at the same time, again, like KJ Henry said, might be the quote unquote worst game of the year. You make it the best worst game. Whether they win 21-3 and don't beat the spread, but actually, were in control the entire time, that would be fine. It wouldn't make everybody feel better, but it would be fine as long as you keep building from week 1 to 2 to 3 and go on from there.
So I've kind of posed this question all week to my guests who cover Clemson, and I'll pose it to you today. Is the most significant pressure point for DJ the fans? And what I mean by that is when any time in Clemson history that I followed this team for many years, covering them as well, obviously the backup quarterback's always everybody's favorite, but when you've kind of got what DJ had from a year ago, I mean, I love what we heard from KJ Henry today defending him, but the fans don't care about that defense. The fans care about the performance. And if he's struggling early, whether it's Monday, whether it's next Saturday at home against Furman, whatever the case is, John, the fans are going to be incredibly vocal that they want to see the new guy.
Yeah, no, it is a tough situation from that aspect, and I think that's why Dabo Swinney and some of his teammates have been as loud in their support as they have been. So they want to push that back as much as possible. They want to show they have support in the guy, and I do think just from the amount of stuff we've heard in terms of the unquestioned leader, term that's been thrown around, all those other things about how much he's grown, that they really do believe in him, and they really do want him to succeed, and they want to be behind him, and they would obviously want the fans to be behind him as well. But like you said, yeah, I mean, it's a tough position to be in when you struggled for the greater part of a season, especially, when you're the successor to Trevor Lawrence, and before that, Deshaun Watson, who had so much success. And they just expect and almost demand, like you said, success in terms of if there isn't that, there could be a negative reaction. And there is a guy, Cade Klubnik, who has a great history as a high school quarterback, who has a ton of potential, obviously given that 5-star rating sitting there. And I could definitely see the fan base being antsy and that getting a little uncomfortable if things don't go well. But yeah, that's, again, going back to your last question, why this opener is so important. I mean, if they can get something going, especially on the ground with the running game, take some pressure off of DJ, let DJ, play within himself, which is, I think, what Dabo Swinney has said. Last year, a little bit, he wasn't playing within himself because there was some criticism and things weren't going great. Take the pressure off of DJ Uiagalelei and let him make the plays that he has to make and play within himself, build that thing up in the first few weeks. Maybe the fan base gets a little less anxious. But yeah, no, it is a thing just because, again, how last year went, and they got to see it on the field. But, Georgia Tech's first opportunity. We'll see how he does there and how it goes from there.
We've obviously also learned, by the way, Jon Blau from the Post and Courier joining us on Twitter at @JON_Blau, BLAU. We have also learned, John, over the past week or so that Blake Miller is going to be securing that right tackle spot for Clemson, the freshman out of Strongville, Ohio. Today, I know Brandon Streeter was asked about him a couple of times. Just give us some insight into what your read is on that situation and where their confidence is in that young man right now.
Yeah, I mean, the two words, I guess, that have come up has been Mitch Hyatt, in terms of that is who they think he basically compares to. Obviously Hyatt was a guy who came in 2015, and then his entire career as a freshman all the way to his senior year was a starting offensive tackle on that left side. And they think that Blake Miller is about the same type of ready-made, ready-to-go prospect. You look at him, he's 6'6", he's 315 pounds. The thing that's amazing about him, I actually wrote an article last week about him, is that he could squat 585 pounds as a 17-year-old in high school. I mean, that literally translates to he showed up on Clemson's campus, and he was just as strong, if not stronger, than most of the offensive linemen in that room already as a freshman.
Yeah.
I think Walker Park said we wanted to check his birth certificate. We thought he was 25. I mean, he hadn't even turned 18 yet. So he's just a guy who is physically ready. Now, whether mentally and in terms of technique and be able to battle against people that are his size, how he's going to hold up exactly, that is a question. I mean, I think that's a question for any freshman who gets thrown in there. But again, I think they like what they've seen in camp enough to, again, move Walker Parks from right tackle to right guard to get the best 5 on the field. He's definitely strong enough, definitely mature enough. And he's gone up against a defensive line that is considered one of the best in the country. So if he's practicing against those guys and having success, you feel a little bit better about it. But yeah, it's a thing that's going to be interesting to watch unfold. You can do things obviously to help tackles. You can chip a guy with a running back. You can get a tight end over there. You can do things to help him if he needs it. But for whatever reason, and again, we're going to see it on the field, and we've heard it multiple times, but again, you have to see it. That they feel really confident, Blake Miller. And again, they call him a longer, a bigger Mitch Hyatt. And so definitely high praise for a freshman. It'll be interesting to see how he performs.
John, you mentioned the tight end. I want to ask you, I mean, it's been a while, really since Jordan Leggett, where the tight end position was a focal point or even a release valve really for the quarterback. I think that's got to be another asset this year that is not just utilized, but maybe even overutilized to really help DJ and Cade or whoever's in at quarterback. I know we've heard from both Brenningstool and Davis Allen just kind of about their roles so far. I mean, what are you expecting to see from Clemson in terms of the involvement of the tight ends? Kyle Richardson's coaching them, and so maybe that helps some. But I thought a year ago with Tony Elliott coaching tight ends that they would be a bigger emphasis, but they still didn't really find their way to being a significant weapon.
Yeah, I mean, last year, I thought that they had a pretty talented tight end group with Braden Galloway and Davis Allen. And there was even talk coming out of camp about Jalen Lay and all the progress he had made. And I wouldn't say it was a complete dud. I mean, I think Braden, played well enough when he was on the field, but he was just so hurt throughout most of that season. Davis Allen made some plays, but it wasn't really the tight end room that I think we all expected. But Jake Brenningstool came out, in preseason camp and said, we expect to be a bigger part of this offense. Like, I really think there's going to be opportunity for us to get involved. And so that was interesting to hear Jake Brenningstool say. And again, there's definitely talent there. He's a 6'6", 230-pound tight end, Jake Brenningstool is. And Davis Allen's a senior, who's been around a lot. And they like some of those backups even. Like Luke Price, we've heard about, the former walk-on who's been around forever now. I think 6 years, feels like 10 or whatever. He's a guy they think they could bring in goal line situations and get you some push. And so, yeah, it's a group that is talented, no doubt. Whether, like you said, Kyle Richardson being the passing game coordinator, him being integral in that part of the game planning, whether having him as the tight ends coach will influence kind of who gets the ball and how, that will be interesting to see. But then again, I mean, you ask that question and offensive coaches will always tell you it's about the way defenses defend us. So, obviously if they're really concerned about Bo Collins and Joseph Ngata and, those aspects of the passing game, maybe the tight end will be open more over the middle. But if defenses are concerned about taking away the tight end, maybe you got more shots down the sideline. So it's really a pitcher poison for the defense. That's a good thing for Clemson. It seems like they've got talent all over the place, but it'll be interesting, again, like I said, to see how it shakes out in terms of who's open and who makes some big plays.
Final couple of things here for Jon Blau from the Post and Courier on Twitter at Jon_Blau. If you're watching, retweet the show, share it, and again, follow him on Twitter as well. So, John, flipping to the defensive side of the ball real quick, the depth chart came out yesterday loaded with oars, which is obviously a positive and not a negative, because it's not a or because we don't know who can play. It's an or because we believe both of these guys or more can play. I mean, when you talk about attrition in the sport, when you talk about the way, some guys get their feelings hurt by not being able to, be the quote unquote starter, to me, and this would be even if I wasn't a Clemson graduate, it is refreshing to see a group that just says, hey, yeah, put us on the list. We're going to go out there and play. I mean, I just appreciate that as somebody that covers college football, the NFL, and sports where everybody feels like they have to be the starter. It doesn't feel like it's the case at Clemson, and I think there's major positives to that.
Yeah, I think Dabo Sweeney, I think DJ Uyunglele or KJ Henry, I forget which one said that, that Dabo has said, and I don't know why I'm saying they said that Dabo has said. I think Dabo said it himself when we heard it, that this is one of the more tight-knit groups he's had. This is a very close team. I think going back through that season last year and surviving it and kind of coming together, I think they're very tight-knit. And like you said, this is a very, very talented defense that, might be about 16 players deep. I mean, especially you look at safety, for instance. I think Tyler Venables and Jalen Phillips are kind of the oars at safety. You got, Andrew Makuba as the starting strong safety, but RJ Mickens right behind him. I mean, any of those four guys you could expect to be the first on the field starting a game. And at defensive end, obviously, Xavier Thomas is not in this game against Georgia Tech, but yeah, when he's in there, it's him or KJ Henry or Miles Murphy or even Justin Maskell. I think it's a guy who gets kind of forgotten about because those other three are there. And defensive tackle is really interesting. That was one of the more interesting oars for me in that depth chart, which was Brian Brzee or Rook Aroro and Tyler Davis or Rook Aroro. I had to say that twice. That was
right.
tough. But Rook Aroro, he is a guy that, is a developmental player, coming into last year. It was kind of a question of how much could this guy produce, especially when Brzee and Tyler Davis were out. But he really established himself. And Dabo Sweeney, I think on his radio show the other day was saying, I think Rook could be anywhere from a first to a fourth round draft pick. I mean, that's coming up this April potentially. And so he's a guy who absolutely is like a third starter defensive tackle. And so, yeah, there's a lot of oars. The one that concerns me the most is who's starting at corner. I mean, I think it was Sheridan Jones or Nate Wiggins, and then Fred Davis or Nate Wiggins.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a combination there. We're not exactly sure. And I didn't list Toriano Pride or Jaden Lucas, the freshman. So that will be interesting to watch. But, yeah, for the most part, I would say the oars are not a case of, like you said, you don't know who can play. It's just that you have some options in terms of who you can throw out there and who can play.
Yeah, and the best news, we kind of touched on this on Monday, and I think you'll agree. The best news for those defensive backs is that if the defensive line plays the way you expect, you don't have to. You hopefully won't have to cover too long, guys. So there's that. JB, man, we always appreciate you. Thank you so much, and look forward to talking to you next week, buddy.
No problem. Thanks for having me, Lawton. See you.
Jon Blau from the Post and Courier here on the program. 803-450-0086 text line and a phone line. Like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends and neighbors, and of course, tell your friends' neighbors about the show that shakes the Southland. And again, some of you are like, Swanee, where's Lowell? Where's Lowell? Lowell, again, backed by unpopular demand. His words, not mine. That's great, Lowell. He's going to be joining us when he can. So it won't be a deal where you kind of feel like, oh, he's here every day. The good news is several of you have chimed in or reached out to us and said, man, that's so exciting to have Lowell back on. So, yeah, I always appreciate the banter with Lowell, and it gives me a chance to regroup and refresh and some thoughts, to bounce off of. So it's always fun. But we appreciate you, too, bouncing thoughts and ideas off of us here on the program. Clemson Sports Talk on Fox Sports Radio 1400 rolls along right after this. Stay with us. All right. Facebook, Twitter, what's up? Man, we got to get our numbers back up. I remember we used to have 30 people hanging out in here, the minimum. But that's what happens when you go away for 6 months or however long we were gone. Couldn't help it. I had to get the setup right. All right. Jon Blau. All right. Here we go. Getting ready. Give me a minute. Don't panic. Don't panic. Well, coming back. Yeah. I'm here, Linda. Can you hear me? You should be able to. Commercial break. All right. Coming back. All right, computer, hurry up. Come on. Come on, computer. These 20-minute segments take a little time to slide into the system. More time than the 7:30s, believe me. So we're going to hear from Brandon Streeter and Wes Goodwin in the next two segments. What is going on? Guess I'll try it again and hope that it's. Oh, there it is. Woo, man, I was getting nervous. See, down to 6 minutes. 6 minutes to get pressure on. On. I was down to 6 minutes. That's pressure, man. When you're in this business, that's pressure. Because if I don't get it uploaded, you know what you hear? Mike Yuva from yesterday. Not great. At least there's something. In the old way, I used to do the show when we were live. If something happened, you didn't hear anything. At least now, doing it like this, there's something. I mean, if humanity ended today and the radios continued to work, you guys would hear on Fox Sports Radio the same show for eternity of Clemson Sports Talk. All right, here we go. Coming back. Let's see. And return video. Hit it. Happy Wednesday, hump day, audio day in Tiger Town. That's right. Clemson's coaches and players, or coordinators, I should say, and players, met with the media today to talk about the Tigers' upcoming matchup against the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. 803-450-0086. Like, share, and subscribe. Linda said, how long did it take me to get over COVID? Ooh, Linda. There's a turn in the combo. Let's see. I got sick on November the 30th or December 1st. And I did not start feeling better until the 18th. 3 weeks? 3 weeks, something like that. I had it pretty bad. Yeah. So it was no joke. Yeah, I know. And it was weird because, and going back, Linda's dealing with COVID right now. She told us that the other day. Going back, and this is the thing I said then, and I'll say it now to anybody that's dealing with it, because I know it's still out there and I know it's still, affecting people. There are 2 things that I thought about COVID. And again, I was vaccinated. But 2 things I thought. And this is not, hey, political stance on being vaccinated or not. I was already vaccinated for about every other thing. I can't think of anything else. Like I've had all the other shots. But I kind of thought that when you got sick from it, you'd be just like all like gross and runny nosed and all that. And I was none of that. I just could not breathe. I had the little blood oxygen doohickey, this little guy. I had it, and dude, to get that thing up to 94, just sitting here was tough. 92, going up a flight of stairs, doing doing all those things, whatever. It was hard. And that was the thing. Like, I just couldn't breathe. But fortunately, after a visit to the ER and some oxygen or whatever else they gave me, I got better and got out of there. So I was thankful for that. But yeah, it was not easy. Trust me, not easy. Now, some people maybe had it lighter, and that's great. I don't want anybody to have it rough. I want it to be easy for everybody. Honestly. 803-450-0086. So, Linda, hope you feel better soon, and thank you for hanging out with us today. Clemson offensive coordinator Brandon Streeter met with the media. We've heard from DJ. We've talked with Jon Blau about DJ. Here's what Streeter said, or this is what Streeter had to say about his starting quarterback in their upcoming matchup against the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, I really think his poise factor. I really believe that the growth that he's had in that area has been tremendous. And him just understanding the big picture even more so than he has in the past has allowed him to be more confident and really to just have that poise that you need to have as a quarterback. And whether that be leadership on the field or just poise in the pocket, all those things, he has grown up in that area.
And mentally. So, and then he was also asked, Brandon Streeter was also asked about DJ watching his own film a season ago. And DJ was asked kind of the same thing, but here's what Streeter had to say about the retrospective that DJ's had.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just being fundamentally sound. You watched the film last year and, he was a little bit, not quite as sharp fundamentally. And so that's something that we talked about, not just in the offseason, but as we get closer to this game, because it showed in that game last year. And so that's the biggest thing is fundamentals under pressure, fundamentals in crunch time, and maintaining that poise throughout that experience.
And the thing too, and this is something that Brandon Streeter has talked about, it's about that platform that DJ's setting himself on. And making sure that, his feet are set underneath him and he's got the proper balance when he's throwing the football. He was also asked about Blake Miller and his role on the offensive line.
Well, Blake has done an awesome job. I think I related him to like a Mitch Hyatt type situation where Blake has come in and really, really has learned the big picture and understand, what everybody else is doing. And that's allowed him to excel mentally, which is very hard for a young lineman to do. A lot of times it takes at least a year or two to get very acclimated because there's so much that goes on up front. There's a lot of communication. So there's a lot of knowledge there, but he has been over the top as far as just knowledge as a freshman. Still has things to learn, of course, but But man, I've just been impressed with that piece, mentally understanding, not really busting, assignments. And so he's been very, very consistent at a young age.
So calling Blake Miller very consistent there. Clemson offensive coordinator Brandon Streeter. 803-450-0086. I think we can squeeze one more question in. Wide receiver Brandon Spector, who was named the starter after being out essentially for 2 seasons. Here's what Streeter had to say.
It's a really big confidence boost for our guys, especially for Brandon. And I know for DJ too, and our quarterbacks. Like you said, just to see what he's gone through and just overcoming some of the adversity that he had health-wise. He's had a great camp, and he is ready to go. And so he's just a warrior. That kid is a warrior, and very, very physical, tough kid, fast, explosive. And so I'm really, really excited to see Brandon out there first time in a long time.
First time in a long time, Brandon Spector will get the start for Clemson against the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets on Monday night. Again, programming note, we will not be on the air that day. By the way, James checking in says that he was only sick for a couple of days, then had a cough off and on for a couple of weeks. So hopefully, Linda, you'll have a mild case moving forward of COVID-19. All right, we got to hit a break. We'll come back. We'll stay with Brandon Streeter, and then we'll hear from Wes Goodwin before we get out of here today. Stay with us. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm going to risk it for the audio biscuit here. I'm going to let you guys hear some music, and we'll see if they still flag it. I mean, if we lose it, we lose it. I just want to know. It's audio that is owned by the company that we use to stream the program. It should make gotta be better. All right, there you go. Coming back. Clemson Sports Talk, Fox Sports Radio 1400 in the Midlands, around the world, on the iHeartRadio app. Download it today, free. Our website, put the .com on it. Doggone it. ClemsonSportsTalk.com. Support our sponsors as well. And get this, you can become a direct supporter of the program. For $1, you get 3 months of coverage on our website. After that, $63.17 for a year of coverage. And I tell you, with the writers and everything that we've got, and those guys, they don't eat for free. Those guys, they got to eat too. So come support us, help us out, help us grow. and get in that community and chat. Like, I love that you guys chat with us here. We don't have enough people posting in our forums. I'm not quite sure how to grow forums. I sometimes think that the forum era is over in the internet industry to a degree, but I still see that there are some that are very viable and busy. How you go from not being viable or not being busy? Sorry, we're very viable. That's the wrong term. How you go from not be not having the traffic of people typing and creating their own content. How do you change that momentum? I don't know, other than to implore you to come over there and respond to a story, and then maybe somebody responds to you, and then it's like a little fire, right? And then next thing you know, we're having to fly helicopters in to put that bad boy out. 803-450-0086. Again, we heard from Brandon Streeter earlier. We'll continue on with that. And again, Clemson a year ago really struggled against the Yellow Jackets, and Georgia Tech kind of changed some schemes up and really frustrated this Clemson Tiger coaching staff, and that kept them in the ball game. Here's Brandon Streeter talking about that exact thing. And Clemson will be better prepared this year. And of course, last year it was Tony Elliott who was the offensive coordinator, and Georgia Tech was giving Clemson some looks to try to force their hand, and it really worked in their favor. But here's what Streeter had to say today about it.
Yeah, I don't know if it was any harder because of the young group. I mean, they know that every game we go into, we're going to have to make adjustments. That's kind of the gist of game planning and being prepared for whatever it is. Because every week we go into it saying, hey, we could get something a little bit different. The big communication piece with the players is that, hey, there's no reason to freak out in a game. Let's just go communicate, let's regroup, and let's get it fixed. And it's our job as coaches is to create that confidence in our players during the game so that there is no panic. There is no freaking out. It's just maintain your poise. Let's talk about it, communicate, and then go fix it. And that's what we did last year, even though they threw out something that we've never seen them do before.
So that's Brandon Streeter again, Clemson offensive coordinator, getting set for his first official game again as the offensive coordinator. He was the offensive coordinator for Clemson in that Cheez-It Bowl, but this is an opportunity for him to open up the season there in Atlanta against Georgia Tech. And here's what he had to say. It's been like kind of going into it as the guy, so to speak, being the OC for Clemson.
I think the biggest one would be excitement, just because I've been waiting for this time for a long time, and the exciting thing that I'm able to be have the opportunity to call plays and be the offensive coordinator at my alma mater, and like I said, it's been kind of a long time coming, and I learned from some great guys, great friends, and so it's more exciting than anything. And it's experience that I've had before at a different place, but so just that excitement about getting ready to go, and finally getting game week, and it's not, spring ball or preseason camp. And now we actually get to go against another opponent. And that makes it really exciting for me.
So there's Brandon Streeter kind of talking about that. 803-450-0086. He's done it before, but again, the first time at Clemson, being the guy heading into year one, game one. And finally, here's Brandon Streeter talking about the quarterback room. You heard from him talking about DJ earlier, but just about if the quarterbacks are kind of hitting that goal of a 60% completion rate at this point.
They were above that 60%, so it was really good to see. Again, it just depended on what we had that installed for that day, kind of depended on the percentage. But when you took the overall, both of those guys were over 60%. And that was really good to see. Again, it shows confidence. It shows, understanding the big picture a little bit more. And then it shows a young guy that has been able to, really absorb the offense and do a good job of maintaining his confidence and throwing with accuracy. Because that's the name of the game when you're talking about quarterbacks, as we all know, is, man, it's all good if you can throw it 70 or 80 yards. But if you're not accurate, it really doesn't matter. And so the accuracy piece is one of the biggest things that we do chart.
And I love to hear about the accuracy, obviously, but the key phrase there, confidence, right? And the most critical 6 inches on that field this year is the 6 inches probably between DJ's ears. If DJ is confident and it's going to help him, okay, having a better offensive line in front of him, that builds confidence. It's also his second year as the guy. That should build confidence. Even though you've got kind of in the back of your mind the issues you had, you should be more confident going into the season. Healthy wide receivers, confidence, a running back group behind you that you feel good about, confidence, tight ends that have a chance to make a difference, confidence. The fan base is, I'm telling you, the only thing that I can really think of that goes against DJ's confidence. That's it. Everything else along the path to game one, snap one, the confidence should be greater for DJ. But it's the moment he sails a ball or has an incompletion or an ugly throw, and the fans are going to come. Like as Lawrence Taylor said, like a bunch of crazed dogs. Because they don't have that confidence in DJ at this point. And it's the reason I'm not picking Clemson to cover 22. I got to see it too. I got to see it to believe it. 803-450-0086. We put a bow on the show right after this with Wes Goodwin. Stay with us. All right, get ready to come back. There. Patrick says favorite part. Yeah, Patrick, it does, man. This thing, you feel this time to the time. I do like final segment on a Wednesday afternoon of the show that shakes the Southland Clemson Sports Talk. Lawton Swan had a chance today to hear from KJ Henry, DJ Uyunglele. We've had a chance to hear a little bit of Justin Maskell, had a chance to hear from Clemson offensive coordinator Brandon Streeter. Well, how about defensive coordinator Wes Goodwin? We've got Wes Goodwin's audio from earlier in Tigertown for you here as we send you off to your evening. And again, we're live 4 to 6 p.m., Fox Sports Radio 1400, around the world on the iHeartRadio app and our website, ClemsonSportsTalk.com. So I mentioned Wes Goodwin and what he had to say about the day of the week or whatever that comment was. Here's Goodwin. Thanking everybody for being here on a Monday, but in the real world on Wednesday.
We can just fire away.
Yeah, excited to be here on a Monday. Obviously, it's Wednesday in the real world, but so game week is upon us. We're excited, ready to go. So fire away wherever you guys are ready.
Now, you hear the little nervousness in his voice. You hear the little nervousness in Wes's voice. I don't think he's a big media guy. I'll tell you who is a big media guy. My face right now. My sister just texted me a picture of my face on her huge television in her house. I apologize for anybody that's got to watch me in high definition. I just hope this. I hope the stream quality is good. Like, that was my thing for a while, too. Like, people ask, why did you stop doing the show? I'm telling you, for a while, the stream issues were just awful. A lot of audio degradation when you talk during commercial break music. Okay. Well, good to know. I won't say a word, Patrick. I won't say a word during the commercial breaks anymore. 803-450-0086. All right, back to Wes Goodwin here. Goodwin was asked about what he's seen from Georgia Tech quarterback Jeff Sims heading into this game.
Yeah, definitely. Just watching him in the spring game, I think he's definitely improved as a passer. Obviously, he's got a good skill set, good size. I think he's growing as a passer, good runner, and it'll be a great challenge for us. I think he can throw the ball down the field and obviously make plays and extend plays with his feet.
There's Wes Goodwin again talking about Georgia Tech's quarterback ahead of this matchup. Of course, one of the backups there for the Yellow Jackets, Tyson Pumachon, who was previously with your Clemson Tigers. And you know what? I did not look, and I should have. What a rookie monster. But I didn't double check, and I'll see real quick. Paul Teo, he also transferred to Georgia Tech. Was he listed as one of the starters for the Yellow Jackets? Let me see. Where is the depth chart, not for Clemson, but Georgia Tech's depth chart. So let me see if I can dig that up real fast. Throw that in my Google machine. I just actually thought about it, and I was like, you know what? Maybe let me see if we do have an update on Paul Teo and his situation. So I do not like it when it's slow. Yeah, Paul Teo will be starting at right guard. So the former Clemson Tiger offensive lineman will be starting at right guard this year in that game against Clemson. So it's just like that, man. It flips, and guys transfer and end up going to another school and then playing immediately. So it is very, very strange. And final thing here from Wes Goodwin. I love this comment too. He was asking about what game day is like for him. And he just says, hey, I'm a pretty chill guy.
Yeah, I mean, just knowing that you're prepared first and foremost. I fully trust my preparation, my weekly schedule. I'm 100% in total commitment from that standpoint. But once it gets to game mode, I just enjoy every Saturday, Sunday, whatever, Monday, whatever day that we get to tee it up. Just thankful for those opportunities. Those are special. You work 360 days for 15 opportunities. So just enjoying those moments and not getting caught up in all the stress and the outside noise, and just enjoying that opportunity with those seniors and those guys in the locker room, your coaching members that you've spent countless hours in a room with, just enjoying that, just soaking it all in. I usually go out, walk the field, come back, and then just kind of enjoying the moment in the locker room, just watching everybody go through, their steps or preparation. Some guys, like you said, Tony had his headphones on. I'm just pretty chill. I am who I am.
Wes going, I'm just pretty chill. I am who I am. Put it on a t-shirt. All right, we got to get out of here. Thank you for hanging out with us live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And again, on the iHeartRadio app, Fox Sports Radio 1400. Until tomorrow, as always, y'all take care now. And go Tigers!